Ā'ishah, the mother of the believers, narrated that the first aspect of revelation to God's messenger was that his dreams came true. Whatever vision he might have had in his sleep would come true as clearly as the break of dawn. Then he began to enjoy seclusion. He used to retreat alone into the Cave of Ḥirāʼ, where he would spend several days in devotion before going back to his family. He used to take some food with him, and when he came back he would take a fresh supply for another period. He continued to do so until he suddenly received the truth while in the Cave of Ḥirāʼ. The angel came to him and said, "Read." He replied, "I am not a reader." The Prophet says, "He held me and pressed hard until I was exhausted. Then he released me and said, 'Read.' And I replied, 'I am not a reader.' So he held me and pressed me hard a second time until I was exhausted. Then he released me and pressed hard for a third time until I was exhausted. Then he released me. Then he said, 'Read in the name of your Lord who created. It is he who created man from a clinging cell mass.' Read, your Lord is the most bounteous. 96 to 1 to 3. The Prophet returned home trembling right until he entered Khadījah bint Khuwaylid's place and said, 'Wrap me, wrap me.' They wrapped him and his fear subsided. He turned to Khadījah and related to her what happened and said, 'I fear for myself.' Khadījah replied, 'No, by God, God will never let you suffer humiliation.' Khadījah replied, 'No, by God, God will never let you suffer humiliation, because you are kind to your relatives, you assist anyone in need, you are generous to the poor, you are hospitable to your guest, and you help in every just cause.' Then she took him to Waraqah ibn Nawfal ibn Asad ibn Abd al-Uzzā, her paternal cousin, who was a Christian convert and a scholar with a good knowledge of Hebrew. He used to write from the Gospel in Hebrew whatever God willed him to write. He had lost his eyesight as he had grown very old. Khadījah said to Waraqah, 'Uncle, would you like to hear what your nephew has to say?' Waraqah said, 'Well, nephew, what have you seen?' The Prophet related to him what he saw. When he had finished, Waraqah said, 'It is the same angel as was sent down to Moses. I wish I was a young man so that I might be alive when your people turn you away from this city.' The Prophet exclaimed, 'Would they turn me away?' Waraqah answered, 'Yes. No man has ever preached a message like yours and was not met with enmity. If I live till that day, I will certainly give you all my support.' Waraqah died soon afterwards, and revelations were discontinued for a while.